Hey, welcome to another Gravel on the Ground. I'm here in my beautiful balcony in Baguio, Philippines. Absolutely love it here, but this video is about BGC. And I'm gonna give you the good and the bad. You know, I've traveled several places in the Philippines, and I've enjoyed some of it, and I have not enjoyed some of it. BGC, you know, somewhere in the middle. And overall, it feels like I've watched so many videos. Probably a lot of you are doing the same thing, trying to figure out what is it really like. And it's so difficult to do just watching the videos. Some of the places that I've gone, not just here, but also in Vietnam on this 3-month trip, have been completely different than everything that I watched on the videos. There's so many things that they just didn't tell me. Now, this isn't an exhaustive, long video, so I can't tell you everything, but I do hope to just give it as much like I think it is as I can, so that you can make an informed decision. I had some amazing times in BGC, as you can see from my other BGC videos. I spent a solid 10 days in BGC and tried to explore as much of it as I could. I think it is amazing for the price you pay compared to, say, what you would pay in the West. When you're coming from a Western country like I was, and you're gonna drop in the middle of somewhere, it is really nice just to be able to kind of get your feet under you, and you're gonna have all of the things that you're used to, sort of, you know. It's just a slightly different version of most cities, right? And you kind of get your feet wet, you know what I mean? And if you were to drop right into Cebu City or something like that, it'd be a completely different experience, just coming in from the airport. So I think it was a good idea for me to start there, and I began in Uptown, and I probably wouldn't do that again. And if you've watched my videos on BGC, Uptown just, to me, was actually kind of boring. It just didn't have a lot of je ne sais quoi. I don't know. It just didn't have that thing, that certain something to me, and I just didn't really feel great there. But I didn't feel bad. It just was just kind of there, and I thought to myself, man, maybe BGC, I'm not going to love it. You know, it had great food, it had everything. One thing that they never tell you, and it's very interesting for BGC, I was surprised that there's a lot of sewer smell coming up from the grates and here and there. You'd just be walking along and all of a sudden, bam, you just get hit by this incredible sewer smell. And I only really had that in Uptown. But the rooms and things are absolutely gorgeous. They're a little bit more expensive than you would spend in other areas. Extremely expensive for the Philippines, but it's the same I'm paying here in Baguio. They seem to be very similar to me. But other than the rooms, I really just didn't feel, I was like, okay, BGC is okay. And then I moved down to Forbestown, completely different for me, you know, and everybody's gonna have, that's the thing, is until you get boots on the ground, it's very difficult to make a proper decision about a place. It really is. I mean, everybody loves Da Nang, and like, for me, it was a very, very different experience. And, you know, there's such it really seemed like people were kind of thinking Vietnam and the Philippines were sort of similar in some ways, and they are, but to me, they're completely opposites. And, you know, I just really, over time, have really fallen in love with the Philippines. I've grown to appreciate BGC a bit more over my trip, but I really did enjoy Forbestown, and if you could watch the videos for that. It's very easy to get to High Street and all of everything that's going on, but yet you still have this kind of neighborhood. You're next to the golf course. It just feels a little bit more livable, and you know, lots of people walking their dogs, and you've got a little park, and it just really feels homey to me. Yet you have everything. And so that time there, you know, the apartments and stuff probably not quite as nice as you're going to get in Uptown. There are some beautiful buildings, don't get me wrong, but a lot of those are for people to live in. But I, you know, personally would at least, hopefully you could look at both. But I really did enjoy Forbestown. I enjoyed BCG. You can walk everywhere. And it's very well known that it's very clean there, and there's sidewalks everywhere. You can walk. It's a very good walking city. You have everything you could want. I did the video on the 2 big malls there, but there's just malls throughout. There's everything if it's too hot. The reason why I mentioned malls, there's a lot of malls in Southeast Asia, and that's because of the heat. We don't have quite as many malls here in Baguio because you could just walk every day and you don't need to be under air conditioning. And so, you know, it's nice to have those you just want to get out of the house on a hot day. It's nice to be able to have that. You have unlimited food options, so whatever it is that you like is there, and it's going to be a reasonable price. The food prices were, you know, if you're coming from a Western country, it's going to feel like free at first. And then you're going to be, you know, nitpicking over a couple of dollars later because once you get used to it, right? But it really affordable, even in BGC, for food, for good quality food, and to be able to just get what you want. And then if you do want to live on a budget, there are some local, especially up by the mall where most of the people go to. I did a video on that. You can find very reasonable price stuff if you just wanted to live in a budget. It doesn't feel crazy. You know, you've probably watched the videos from Brian the Lion. He's kind of the BCG guy since he lives there, and you'll see it's not crazy. You know, you're not. The traffic can be a little crazy on traffic times, but you know, overall it just doesn't feel crazy. Kind of like, I guess I would say Cebu City or New York or Ho Chi Minh or even Da Nang. It doesn't feel like that. It feels more subdued. Like Makati to me felt pretty crazy. It's, you know, big New York traffic type thing. Whereas BCG never really felt that way. It felt very calm, and very few times did I really feel like things were, you know, whizzing by me or whatever. They do have a good nightlife scene. I never really got a chance to get into that like I did in Iloilo. And but I know that it exists, and frankly, there's a club in Uptown that I just never got to. But there's always something happening. You saw Party Time in BGC, my video, where I was just hanging out in the High Street area and ran into the Gin Festival, and just, you know, DJs and good times and things like that happen all the time. And pretty much every weekend there's going to be something special going on. There's always nightlife, there's always bars and restaurants that you can go to. And again, the price isn't so ridiculous that you just don't want to go. Just getting your essentials, and this is another great reason to arrive in something like a BGC. If you forgot something, there's a very good chance you're going to be able to pick that up. You know, if you're like, hey, I just figured I could get vitamins anywhere in the Philippines. That's not the case. I ran into that in Vietnam as well. Maybe you can get it, but you can't get anything of quality. BCG literally has shops where you could just buy vitamins. That's just one thing. I mean, anything that you want, you're pretty much going to find it there. And, you know, if you forgot something, you need a tripod or something like that, then just something you might not be able to get in other places if you forgot it, or if you just don't want to pack it and you just want to buy it when you get here. Everybody speaks English. In BCG especially, you're going to never ever have to worry about any language barrier or anything like that. English is pretty much the language, and so you're set there. That's just, hey, talk about a soft landing. You know, you get to a lot of places in the Philippines and most of the people speak English, but there's going to be your cab drivers or, you know, somebody working in a restaurant that doesn't. And it's not difficult. You know, I've traveled to like 50 countries. I have never had trouble getting around doing anything, but it is kind of nice, you know. I gotta say. The international airport, obviously, just you want to book around traffic times, obviously. I mean, because Manila traffic is ridiculous. And that's one of the things most people will talk about. You don't have to deal with that if you're staying at BGC because you just can walk everywhere. It's very, very easy. But if you coming back from the airport or whatnot, you just watch the times that you come and go. But it is nice having that airport there that can go anywhere. And so if you were kind of based in the BCG area, then you could easily take trips in and out and do whatever you got to do. It's nice to have. Unlimited day trips to like Makati and to Mall of Asia, which I do think is absolutely worth the trip. Not just the mall itself, but the things around the mall. It's, you know, I really thought it was a great time. Just tons of little areas in Manila where you'd love to check out for a day, but maybe you don't want to stay there forever. That's really easy to do, especially if you pick around the traffic times if you're staying in BGC. Let's get to what I consider the negative things. Now, of course, this is my own personal opinion, and, you know, that's just the way it is. I don't think it's as friendly as the smaller cities. You know, you go to like Iloilo, and, you know, I met just random different people almost every single day that I was there. And it was, you know, that's true in a lot of the smaller cities. You know, it's just a big city and everybody's doing their thing and they have their you know, they're on a mission a lot of times, or maybe they're foreigners that are on vacation that are also on their mission. But it's I didn't find it to be as easy to meet people. There's lots of activities that you could do to meet people, but I kind of like the organic nature of just meeting people, which I, you know, did the first day here in Baguio and easily did in Iloilo. You see what I'm saying? But people aren't unfriendly. You know, it's not like in the West where you see this resting bitch face everywhere. It's not like that at all. People are not, you know, they might have a scowl because of different reasons. You know, maybe they're working a job in BCG and they can't afford to buy anything there. They just have to work there and then go back out, you know. So a lot of times maybe they're not as happy as they would be in other places. But they don't seem, you know, just like, again, resting bitch face is a perfect example. You just don't see that like you do in the West. It is kind of a concrete jungle. Not, well, I would say not like Makati, but Makati has the green zone, which is amazing. So, but it still feels very city. I would say BGC, it's still concrete jungle, but it does have parks and it does have little respites here and there from the concrete. But I felt like maybe Uptown, very concrete. So that's why I guess I enjoyed Forbestown a little better and High Street. Traffic surrounds you. Almost every, you know, block you go, there's going to be traffic, right? It's easy to cross the street. I never had any trouble. They have lights. It's not like Vietnam or something where you're like, you know, playing Frogger all the time. No, there's lights and it's very, very easy to travel around just like you would in most Western cities. But that traffic noise and that traffic is going to be around. It's nice to have a quiet place. I was very lucky. All the places I stayed were pretty quiet. But you are also surrounded by traffic outside of BGC. So every time that you leave BGC, you are going to run into massive traffic. Just something to think about. The heat can be suffocating. I think that's pretty well known about the Philippines and Southeast Asia in general, except for places like this. That's why I love it so much. So there are times when you're just going to jump out of your apartment, you're going to walk for about 3 or 4 minutes and you're already going to be sweating. And that's just the way that's why there's so many malls there. And that's not like that year round, but a good portion of it. as I mentioned kind of before, the have and have-nots. There's, you know, you got this upper crusty. You're gonna see things like Ferraris and, you know, higher end BMWs, and I even saw like a Rolls Royce or something. You know, there's definitely going to be that crowd, especially I saw in Forbestown almost every day. Some super nice cars parked there. But then you're also going to have a lot of the poorer people that are coming in for work. So it makes this weird balance where you have these have and have-nots, and it's kind of evident, and it does create an atmosphere. And don't know exactly how to put that, but I have been told that by many Filipinos. This is kind of, you know, what you can see, little angst in BGC. But it's nothing super noticeable unless you're looking for it. But I just wanted to, you know, maybe you're aware that a lot of the people that are working in that city can't really afford to buy anything in that city. The airport at Manila, you know, I said is a good thing, you can get anywhere, but it is, you know, when I flew in, it was the easiest thing ever. I got off the plane, less than, you know, 10 minutes, I was out and I was headed to my hotel. It was an extremely easy experience. But then when I was coming back from Iloilo, going to Vietnam, that was hours I spent, you know, going between the here and there and getting, you know, around, getting in and out of the airport. So it can be an absolute hassle. It's not known for one of the best airports in the world. I didn't feel like it was particularly dirty or anything like that, but there was a lot of it that wasn't air conditioned, and you know, I ended up getting kind of sweaty, and you know, to deal with all that when you're flying in and out and you've been traveling for 18 hours or whatnot. So it just depends on your experience. Like I said, it was nice when I came in here, and that was super easy. So just something I thought I would mention, especially those of you who are thinking about living around here, that yes, you do have that convenience to be able to come and go, but you also got to deal with the traffic getting in and out of that airport, and also the airport itself. I personally had a very good time in BGC. I'd definitely go back. I don't think that I would live there, but I think that I would definitely use it as a regrouping spot. I met a lot of really great people. I think you've seen probably a couple interviews. I did an interview with a Filipina, and she really broke down what it took for her to go from zero basically to, you know, living in the nicest place of Manila and overlooking the golf course. Absolutely gorgeous apartment, and she's done really well for herself, but she worked her way, and that was very inspiring, and I hoped to inspire people with that. Also, my friend Guy actually did a little short interview with him, and I'm just going to put that here at the end of this video so that you can get an idea maybe what it's like, the perspectives of a young Filipino working in the phone center. Been doing that for a few years. Really nice kid, and really good friend. So I hope that you'll watch that.
My name is Jib Boy Bono, so you can call me Jib. I am 19 years old, all the way here in the Philippines. So I work here in BGC, but I am from the other city. It was called Pasig. So I got here just working, you know, 21 years old, young boy working, living alone, you know, and yep, that's all.
Working in BGC. Where's Pasig?
Pasig, so it's like BGC and the other cities. So BGC, Makati, and Pasig.
That's where you're from?
Yes. So it was
You were
like
born there?
what?
You were born in Pasig?
So I was born in province. It was in Leyte. It was like in the eastern part of the Philippines. It's an island though. So it's in another island. My parents in another island. So they just got into a decision to go here in Manila because there's no money in island. You know, you just gotta be do farming, selling fish, but not enough to, to have your child a bright future. So my mom go here. They just working all together, and we just go to the young age. I think that was 19 years old before my mom go to Dubai. So my mom is in Dubai, so I'm living alone right now.
Right. So you're in Pasig. You're still in Pasig?
Yep, I'm still in Pasig, so it was like 10 minutes, driving. And BGC, by the way, I'm working in T-Mobile, like the T-Mobile carrier in America. So I was like customer service, something like this. Hi, thank you for calling T-Mobile. This is Jib. How can I help? And some people are going irate, hey, shut the fuck up. Yeah, you can help me, get me a supervisor. And some like, hi, how are you doing? Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Working for about 2 years, and yeah, it was amazing. Amazing experience. I used to, before when I'm not in the customer service, I don't know how to speak in English. I don't have any confidence, like, oh my God, how am I gonna be speak this one or smoke this one in person or in calls? I don't know how to use has, have, and had. So I don't know that it's a past tense. It's a I use has in a had sentence. I use have in a has sentence. So it was like gonna be working on this. So for about 3 months or 6 months, I used to speak in English and have the confidence in it. But the rate in province is like 70% only of the rate here. So example, you're earning here like 300 to 400 a month, you can earn out there like 250. That's horrible, but you don't have any choice. When you go here, you pay for you pay for the house, for the food. But when you work out there, if you have house in the province, you have food to eat, you can earn. But here, you cannot earn. You just survive day by day.
Right.
Yeah, but it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. So I hope other people from the provinces go here in Manila, because Manila is very nice. You can be able to go in the night. You walk around, you see so many people. But in province, you can only walk in your building, and when you go out there, it was mountains. So there's nothing to see. It was mountains.
Kind of boring.
Yeah, kind of boring. That's correct.
So, maybe what do you see in 5 or 10 years? What do you want?
Yeah. Right now I don't see myself here in the Philippines. So I gotta do whatever opportunity. I think I go to South Korea, Taiwan, working, whatever it takes. I think I want to work like a factory worker, but just outside of the country, because opportunity outside of the country are really great. Like example, you're working in factory outside of the country, so you can earn out there for like 1,200 plus. They give you food, they give you rent, so you just earn the 1,200. However, when you are working outside of the country, it was so sad, because you don't have friends. You just used to have friends here. Like whenever it's off, you gotta go out. Hey, we go to the malls. But in Taiwan or in Hong Kong or in South Korea, you cannot do that because you don't have friends unless you have foreign friends. But it's really hard to trust right now. So yeah, I don't see myself here in the Philippines, but Philippines is amazing. It's just that the income here is not good. If you wanted to have a bright future, you should go out. But if you just want like an exact thing, just to survive in the Philippines, just to survive yourself, yeah, you can stay here. I just wanted to say to all of the viewers here, Philippines is so nice. So many islands, so many great people. Like whenever you go here, there are so many people that will greet you like, hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And you should go here in BGC. It was amazing, so many lights. It was like a city. It was the heart of Manila. heart of the Philippines. It has so many buildings out there. This is only the city that has so many buildings. So if you have an opportunity to go here in the Philippines, you should go here.
And I hope you learned something in this video, because that's what it's all about. And I will see you in the next one. Love y'all.